Dr. Jitendra Singh has arrived amongst us to grace this occasion. I request you all to keep up the huge round of applause for him. Accompanied with him is Dr. N. Kalaiselvi, Director General CSIR and Secretary DSIR. We also have Dr. T. Ramasamy, former Secretary DST, and Dr. Geeta Vani Raisam, Head CSIR HRDG. Accompanying them, we have Professor Venu Gopalachanta, Director CSIR NPL. Can we have the live telecast of the PM?
PM Fasal Yojana and also Avaj Yojana and also Ayushman Bharat and also KCC, Kisan Credit Card, a green card, sir.
Harikishan
It is
ji,
helpful.
are you also seeing some new practices in agriculture?
Yeah, sir.
Can you share your experience?
Sir, nowadays you have launched a nano urea, water soluble fertilizers like DAP. It is helps us to save soil from helps us save soil, sir. And also now the drone has been launched, sir. It is saves time and also manpower from affecting chemicals, sir.
हरिकृष्ण जी, आपके जैसे पढ़ लिख करके आगे बढ़े हुए व्यक्ति खेती की तरफ लौट आए, यह देखकर बहुत अच्छा लगा मुझे। साथ ही आप नई तकनीक को भी जान रहे हैं और समझने का प्रयास भी कर रहे हैं। सरकार आप जैसे लोगों के साथ हमेशा खड़ी है। हमारा प्रयास है कि आगे भी आपको इसी तरह भारत सरकार की योजनाओं का लाभ मिलता रहे। चलिए, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, सबको वणक्कम। अब आप देखते हैं कौन मोदी की गारंटी वाली गाड़ी के पास कहां से जुड़ रहे हैं।
सर, अब हम कोटा राजस्थान चलते हैं, जहां से सपना प्रजापति माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी से बात करना चाहती है।
सपना जी नमस्ते।
माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी को मातृ शक्ति और नारी शक्ति की तरफ से कोटि कोटि प्रणाम सर।
सपना जी, आप तो लीडर लग रही हैं।
सर, ये नारी शक्ति का कमाल है सर। आपने उनके लिए जितनी योजनाएं जो चलाई हैं, उनको हम लोगों को जो योजनाएं मिल रही हैं, उनकी वजह से हमें आत्मविश्वास काफी बढ़ा है सर।
अच्छा सपना जी, जरा पहले अपने बारे में बताइए, आप क्या करती हैं, क्या बैकग्राउंड है आपका?
सर, मेरा नाम सपना प्रजापति है। मैं राजस्थान कोटा से हूँ। मैं एक संयुक्त परिवार में रहती हूँ और मेरे ससुर जी हैं जो ब्रिक्स का काम करते हैं। जो हम कुम्हार हैं तो मिट्टी का हमारा काम है और वही पूरे परिवार का हमारा एक व्यवसाय है, उसी में सब काम करते हैं। तो और मैं पहले जैसे
बताइए
सर, पहले मेरा ये था कि जैसे शादी होने के बाद में एक नॉर्मल फैमिली है, गृहिणी है, तो अपना जितना भी अपन को वर्क आता है तो वो नॉर्मल अपने सारे पारिवारिक ज़िंदगी में वो दब जाता है। तो उसी बीच मेरे को राजीविका से जानकारी मिली, तो उसी के साथ मैं जुड़ी हूँ और सिलाई का और स्किल डेवलप ट्रेनिंग के साथ में मैंने वो काम स्टार्ट किया है।
सरकार की किस किस योजनाओं का आपको लाभ मिला है?
सर, अभी सितंबर में मुझे पीएम स्वनिधि योजना का लाभ मिला है और उससे पहले मैंने 1.5 लाख रुपए PMEGP लोन से प्राप्त किए थे। उसी से मैंने अपने सिलाई मशीन, कटिंग मशीन का कार्य स्टार्ट किया। सर, वो काम मेरा साल भर तक बहुत अच्छा चला, जमा भी है। लेकिन उसी बीच अपने जो कोरोना आया है, तो मेरे साथ काम करने वाली महिलाएं और जो मेरे आसपास की महिलाएं थी, उनकी आर्थिक और पारिवारिक स्थिति, ये मानिए कि सबकी बहुत परेशानी वाली स्थिति। इसी वक्त आपका एक वीडियो हमने देखा, उसमें था कि लोकल फॉर वोकल, वोकल फॉर लोकल का जो आइडिया था, तो हमने उस टाइम पे एक मास्क बनाया जो कि हमारे आसपास की नगर निकाय में मेडिकल्स पे हमने उसको जाके दिखाया। उन मास्क का लोगों का इतना रुझान रहा कि हमसे काफ़ी ऑर्डर उन्होंने हमको दिए और जो मेरे साथ की महिलाएं थी उनके लिए एक रोजगार का सशक्तिकरण बन गया वो। और उससे
अच्छा सपना जी, लगता है आप पढ़ी लिखी हैं। ये बताइए, आप ऑनलाइन या कैशलेस ट्रांजैक्शन उसमें भी कुछ करती हैं क्या? उसके लोग आपके साथ उस प्रकार से जुड़ते हैं क्या?
सर, मेरा 95% ट्रांजैक्शन UPI रहता है। 5% का भी जो मुझे जमा कराना होता है तो वही रहता है।
वाह हाँ, बताइए।
सर मेरा जैसे कोरोना के बाद में महिलाओं का था कि क्या करें, क्या एक अवसर उनको दिया जाए, तो मास्क का हमारा ऐसा चला कि राजस्थान की जितनी भी नगर निकाय थी वहाँ पे उन चीज़ों को बढ़ावा मिला, मास्क को मिला, उसके साथ पीपीई किट थे उनको भी बढ़ावा मिला। तो हमने आसपास के नगर निकायों में उन चीज़ों को दिया। और साथ ही साथ मैं ये कहना चाहूँगी कि शिक्षा नगरी एक हमारी काशी है, उसी बीच ओम बिरला जी द्वारा काफ़ी सारे ऑर्डर हमें दिए गए कि आप लोग जिस मास्क को आप बना रहे हैं वो आसपास के सामाजिक लोगों में, संस्थाओं में उनको अप्रोच कीजिए, महिलाओं को, और जो लोग इन बारे में जानकारी नहीं रखते हैं कि मास्क लगाने से क्या होगा, उसकी सबकी जानकारी उन्होंने दी। और उनके साथ साथ ये कि उनका सुपोषित माँ अभियान एक ये महिलाओं के लिए एक वरदान साबित हुआ कि जो महिलाएं
लोगों
आर्थिक रूप से
में लोगों
परेशान,
में मिलेट्स का, मोटे अन्न का, जिसको हम अब श्री अन्न कहते हैं,
जी सर,
बाजरा वगैरह जो पहले खाते थे वो खिलाने की लोगों को आदत हो रही है। अभी समझा रहे हैं आप लोगों
सर,
को।
जी सर, सब मोटा अनाज जैसे हम पहले ये था कि
मुझे
महिलाएं
मुझे
दलिया
खुशी
बनाती
है कि आपके पीछे जो महिलाएं बैठी है वो भी मुंडी हिला रही है।
सर, ये मेरे साथ है, जैसे मैंने जो सर ये मिलेट, कई महिलाएं जो मोटे अनाज के साथ में काम करती हैं और कई महिलाएं जो मैंने मास्क के टाइम अपने साथ काम कराया, और 40 महिलाएं भी यहाँ पर बैठी हुई हैं सर। और
अच्छा,
वो
कितनी महिलाएं आपके साथ काम कर रही हैं सपना जी?
सर मेरे साथ 40 महिलाएं काम कर रही हैं सर।
चलिए सपना जी, अच्छा आपको ये मालूम है हमने एक पीएम विश्वकर्मा योजना शुरू की है, जिस
जी सर।
पीएम विश्वकर्मा योजना में, जैसे आपने कहा आप कुम्हार हैं, समाज
जी
में
सर।
ऐसे कुछ समाज के लोग हैं जो समाज को चलाने के लिए मूलभूत काम करते हैं, उनके लिए पीएम विश्वकर्मा, वो आपके समाज को भी है, तो उसका प्रचार हुआ है, उसका लाभ ले रहे हैं लोग।
हाँ सर, उसका लाभ भी अभी हमने लोगों से चर्चा की, कई लोगों को बताया भी है, वो तैयार है। और उसी के साथ साथ हमने पीएम स्वनिधि की 35 महिलाओं की भी फॉर्म भरवाए हैं, उज्ज्वला योजना के भी भरवाए हैं सर। एसएचजी की जो महिलाएं हैं उनको हमने एक टारगेट दिया कि जो जो लीडर हैं या टीम मेंबर है वो अपने आसपास के एरिया को कवर करें और उस चीज़ को आगे बढ़ावा दें, जिससे महिला सशक्तिकरण को एक ऊंचाइयों तक ले जाया जा सके।
सपना जी, आपने कठिन परिस्थितियों का सामना करते हुए काफी अच्छा काम किया। आपके काम की वजह से लोगों को मास्क भी उपलब्ध हुआ और मास्क का महत्व भी समझ में आया। साथ ही आप सभी महिलाएं अब साथ मिलकर के अनेक विध काम कर रही है। आप सभी की सामूहिक शक्ति, और जैसे आपने कहा कि मातृशक्ति की ताकत है, ये आपको सफलता की नई ऊंचाई पर जरूर पहुंचाएंगी। आप ऐसे ही बेहतर काम करें और आगे बढ़े। और मेरा एक आग्रह और भी है, ये आपकी जितनी दीदी है ना, ये जो मोदी की गाड़ी है उस कार्यक्रम को सफल बनाए, गांव गांव सूचना करे, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा गांव के लोग आए वहाँ, तो उसमें क्या लाभ मिलता है उनको पता चलेगा। तो आप बड़े आराम से 3-4 गांवों में इस गाड़ी के कार्यक्रम बहुत बड़े हो जाए, इसके लिए आप सबने काम करना चाहिए, ताकि जैसा लाभ आप लोगों को मिला है वैसा लाभ बाकी गांवों को भी मिलेगा।
सर, हमने सिंगल यूज जो प्लास्टिक आपका एक मिशन था उसको भी हमने आगे बढ़ाने के लिए कॉटन बैग्स और जूट के थैले इस तरह से हमने तैयार किए हैं। आगे ये मोबाइल कवर जो कि आजकल रेक्सिन में यूज़ करते हैं वो चीज़ें पब्लिक छोड़ें और जूट को अपनाएं, इसके लिए भी सर हमने काफ़ी प्रयास किया है। और उसी के साथ में मेरी महिलाएं भी लगी हुई हैं सर।
चलिए, बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं हैं आपको।
We were witnessing our Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji interacting with the beneficiaries of Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra. Now to commence today's event, I request our honorable dignitaries to kindly come up on the dais. Can we give a huge round of applause? On the dais, we have Honorable Dr. Jitendra Singh, Vice President, CSIR, Dr. T. Ramasamy, our keynote speaker, and Dr. N. Kalai Selvi, and Dr. Geetawani Rayasam, and Professor Venu Gopala Chanta. Can we have a huge round of applause? Every great event starts with a small idea, a spark of creativity, and a commitment to make it happen. It is indeed a beautiful day as we celebrate the brilliance of the scientific minds that continue to push the boundaries of knowledge and innovation. I, Dr. Sharon Jyotika Paul, on behalf of the CSIR fraternity, extend a warm welcome to our esteemed dignitaries, revered pool of scientists, dignified alumni, directors, distinguished guests, and our dear school students. I also extend a hearty welcome to our guests who have joined us through the online mode. Today is not just about awards and accolades. It's about celebrating the relentless pursuit of knowledge and the passion to discover science. Our honorees today have embodied these values in their work, and we are here to recognize and appreciate their remarkable work in science. Today, we will also witness two pivotal events that are the launch of CSIR Alumni Portal and the release of book entitled Profiles in Excellence CSIR Young Scientist Award. CSIR Alumni Portal, this initiative will provide a platform for all scientists and researchers to stay connected, share experiences, and continue to support each other in their diverse paths. The release of book is not only a compendium that captures stories of CSIR young scientists, but also the essence of brilliance and achievement. So before we dive into the heart of our event, let's take a moment to acknowledge the presence of our esteemed dignitaries by presenting them a token of our respect and delight. I request our ushers to kindly help us. I request our DG, respected Dr. N. Kalaiselvi, to kindly welcome Honorable Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh, who has been instrumental in shaping the scientific and industrial growth in CSIR. Your presence here today is a testament to the significance of this occasion, and we are grateful to have you, sir. I request our DG to welcome Dr. T. Ramasamy by presenting him a token of respect and delight. We are honored and humbled by your presence today, sir. We are honored to welcome respected Dr. N. Kalaiselvi, who has made significant strides in CSIR. I request our head HRDG, Dr. Geeta Vani Rayasam, to welcome our DG CSIR by presenting her a token of delight. Thank you, ma'am. I request the ushers to present the token of delight to Professor Venugopala Chanta for his gracious presence today. Thank you. I also request our ushers to kindly present a token of delight to Dr. Geeta Vani Rayasam, head CSIR, for being a significant part of today's event, ma'am. We are indeed honored to have such dynamic personalities amongst us. Now, I humbly request Director CSIR NPL, Professor Venugopala Chanta, to kindly accord a ceremonial welcome to our venerated guest and this dignified gathering.
Good afternoon, Honorable Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh ji, former Secretary DST, and our own from CSIR fraternity, Dr. Ramasamy, and our beloved DG, Dr. Kalaiselvi, Dr. Geeta Rani Vaisam. Right. So all the awardees, guests, especially lots of school students. I understand that some of them had to leave because of the school bus issue, but many of you are still here. And CSR family members from NISPER headquarters and from across the country. So you're most welcome. It's an honor for me to invite you all once again to NPL auditorium and NPL. Wish the school children could get a glimpse of what happens at NPL in the laboratories. So you're most welcome to come again in a much leisurely fashion where you could spend a day here. This is a request to all the teachers to bring them back. So we'd be very happy to showcase what's the some of the best labs in the country. So this event especially is a very proud moment to host as part of a CSIR family member. This recognizes the young scientists. These are small tokens of appreciation, small pats on our backs, which we get to do well, and also recognize leaders in the field who went on to deliver some outstanding work in science. So these are very much welcome, and we all look forward through the year to have these small appreciative gestures from the system. So today we'll be honoring 8 young scientist award winners and GN Ramchandran award winner today. So I welcome you all on behalf of NPL and CSIR fraternity, and I look forward to having a wonderful event, and look forward to having you all once again at NPL in future too. Okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for delivering the welcome address. Now, I humbly request respected Dr. N. Kalai Selvi, Director General CSIR, to kindly enlighten the gathering with the opening remarks.
Namaskar, Vanakkam, and good afternoon to each and every one of you. Most respected and Honorable Minister of Science and Technology, esteemed Dr. Ramaswamy, former Secretary DST, former Director CLRI, former DG CSIR, I can say many former positions, and my CSIR family. I'm extremely happy to be a part of this very, very important event of today, wherein the Young Scientist awardees will be honored, along with the Professor Ramachandran Award also, gold medal also. Friends, if you just take, I will just take only 2-3 minutes because our Honorable Minister, he has to go to the next meeting. So I will just make it very short. If at all you just look back, how many years this kind of awards were given. So CSIR has taken 35 years to celebrate this kind of encouraging and motivating young scientists in the name of Young Scientist Award. And 35 years they were doing it, and this is the 36th year. And when you just compare the number of people, those who already received this kind of an Young Scientist Award, so far the number says 212 people, 12 scientists across the country, they received this CSIR Young Scientist Award. And today, 8 more people will be getting, and therefore the total is 220. And similarly, if you just take this Professor Ramachandra medal, there again, we have heard about Ragon plot. So similarly, this is again another very important plot in, especially in biology. Because of that, actually, we are talking about this gold medal. And it is given to only one person. And it was started in the year 2004. And now we are going to give one person this year. And all the results will be announced very soon. Why are we doing all these celebrations? Why should we encourage this kind of awards and youngsters? I think this is the $1,000 million worth question. Why? Because country like India, when we are getting ourselves geared up, when we want to position ourselves in global arena, this is the right time wherein we have to really motivate, encourage, prepare, and also make ready the next generation leaders in all areas for which science and technology is not an exception. Therefore, how are we going to groom the next generation leaders in science and technology? I think these are the awards and the recognition by means of which we just encourage, we motivate, and we say that you are having more than enough potential. You are able to do up to this level, and therefore days are not so far off. You can really take your graph to a greater height in the coming days also, by means of which you will also grow, and Indian science and technology will also grow in the global arena. So that is the message which is really getting passed on to the next generation. And I'm really happy that so many young students are here, and you are decorating this auditorium. And I think you will be getting a spark today. And when the whole globe is now getting ready to say, welcome to 2024, it is also our responsibility to see that what and all we have done so far. And I think CSIR is extremely happy to conclude the year 2023 by way of making ready the next generation leaders in science and technology through this kind of awards. So taking this opportunity, I congratulate all the winners, and I wish you should really come up with many more flying colors in the future. And I always really look forward, those who are sitting in this auditorium, from this particular group also, at least handful of people also should come up on stage after few more years, and you should also be really recognized as the winner of many more awards in the coming days. With these few words, thank you so very much. I appreciate HRDG, the leader, and the entire team for having arranged such a wonderful event, and I wish all of you all the very best. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, ma'am, for your words of encouragement. You are truly an indescribable asset and strong pillar to CSIR. The time has come to witness the significant milestone, that is the launch of Alumni Portal. Since inception, CSIR's pioneering role in science and technology, human resource development is well known. CSIR Alumni Portal will act as a pan-CSIR laboratory alumni engagement platform, providing networking opportunities for the alumni, thus adding a value to the research ecosystem. I request the Honorable Minister to kindly launch the Alumni Portal. Let us put our hands together as this phenomenal launch has been done. As we launch our Alumni Portal today, let's take a moment to reflect on the rich tapestry of experiences that each one of us has woven during our time at CSIR. The friendships, the challenges, the victories, they all contribute to the unique story of CSIR. It will serve as a hub for news, events, and updates, and serve as a gateway to a world of connections. Let us embark on this journey of reconnecting, reminiscing, and rekindling the spirit of science in CSIR through this Alumni Portal. Now we come to the most awaited segment of today's event, where we will be presenting Young Scientist Awards 2022 in various categories that span the vast spectrum of scientific disciplines, from physics to biology, chemistry to engineering science. We have a diverse range of achievements to honor today. We will also be presenting the G.N. Ramachandran Medal. The Council of Scientific and Industrial Research introduced in 1987 a scheme of awards for young scientists in CSIR system in order to promote excellence in various fields of science and technology. The awards are known as CSIR Young Scientist Awards. CSIR scientists below 35 years of age, as reckoned on 26 September, that is, on CSIR Foundation Day of the preceding year, is eligible for the award. These awards are given annually in the following fields: biological sciences, chemical sciences, earth, atmosphere, ocean and planetary sciences, engineering sciences, physical sciences, including instrumentation. Each award consists of a citation, a cash prize of Rs 50,000, and a plaque. Our scientist awardees are also provided an honorarium of Rs 7,500 per month till the age of 45. I humbly request our dignitaries to kindly come forward to present the awards. We are thrilled and proud to announce the CSIR Young Scientist Awards 2022. I request the awardees to be alert and kindly come up on the stage as soon as your names are announced. The CSIR Young Scientist Award for the year 2022 in Biological Sciences goes to Dr. Andu Golapati Sai Balagi of CSIR Indian Institute of Chemical Technology, Hyderabad. He has been recognized for his significant basic and translation research in the area of molecular pharmacology and cancer biology. The CSIR Young Scientist Award for the year 2022 in Biological Sciences also goes to Dr. Harsha Bajaj of CSIR National Institute of Interdisciplinary Science and Technology, Thiruvananthapuram. She has joined us through the online mode and we congratulate her for this achievement. The CSIR Young Scientist Award for the year 2022 in Chemical Sciences goes to Dr. Nirmal Goswami of CSIR Institute of Minerals and Materials Technology, Bhubaneswar. He has been awarded for his significant contributions on nanostructures and applications. As we move to the next award, the CSIR Young Scientist Award for the year 2022 in Earth, Atmosphere, Ocean, and Planetary Sciences goes to Dr. Karnan Chinadurai of CSIR National Institute of Oceanography, Goa. He has been recognized for his contributions on plankton ecology along Indian coast and has immense significance in identifying fishery population. The CSIR Young Scientist Award in Engineering Sciences goes to Dr. A. Mercy Latha of CSIR Central Electronics Engineering Research Institute, Pilani. She has been awarded for her outstanding contributions in the areas of high-power microwave devices and terahertz systems leading to application in space technology. This award shows the brilliance of women in science continues to thrive. The CSIR Young Scientist Award for the year 2022 in Engineering Sciences goes to Dr. Amit Kumar of Central Mechanical Engineering Research Institute, Durgapur. He has been acknowledged for his outstanding contributions in the development of generalized formalism for the wave propagation in thin structures using piezoelectric transducers. The CSIR Young Scientist Award for the year 2022 in Physical Sciences, including instrumentation, has been awarded to Dr. Nagavara Aparna Akula of CSIR Central Scientific Instruments Organization, Chandigarh. She has joined us through the online mode and we can congratulate her for this achievement. The CSIR Young Scientist Award for the year 2022 in Physical Sciences, including instrumentation, also goes to Dr. Vishant of CSIR Central Electronics Engineering Research Institute, Pilani, Rajasthan. He has been acknowledged for his outstanding contributions to the field of gyrotron and sub-terahertz radiation source. Now we move to the G.N. Ramachandran Gold Medal for Excellence in Biological Sciences and Technology. CSIR instituted a gold medal in 2004 in the fond memory of Professor G.N. Ramachandran, a pioneer of protein chemistry and the founding father of structural biology in India, for recognizing excellence in the interdisciplinary subject of biological sciences and technology. The G.N. Ramachandran Gold Medal for Excellence in Biological Sciences and Technology for the year 2022 goes to Professor Kaustubh Sanyal of Jawaharlal Nehru Center for Advanced Scientific Research, Bangalore. He has been bestowed with this honor for his seminal contributions in understanding chromosome segregation, centromere biology, and evolution. Thank you so much. I thank the dignitaries for doing the honors. Please be seated. I once again congratulate all our honorees of the Young Scientist Awards and GNR Gold Medal for their outstanding contribution to science. I especially want to congratulate our women scientists who have broken barriers and led with brilliance. Each award presents a story of dedication, perseverance, and a commitment to the greater good. Now the time has come to witness the release of book entitled Profiles in Excellence, CSIR Young Scientist Award, 1987 to 2022. The CSIR Young Scientist Award Scheme was instituted by CSIR in 1987 to recognize outstanding research work by young scientists of CSIR below the age of 35 years based on work done primarily in India. The book is about the information on recipients of CSIR Young Scientist Award from 1987 to 2022, including their areas of expertise, scientific accomplishments, and contact information. The dignitaries are releasing the book. Can we all put our hands together as the release of the book has happened? I thank our dignitaries for doing the honors. The book comprises phenomenal achievements of 221 awardees, including 32 women scientists. It is an early recognition of the honorees who have meticulously excelled and created footprints in the annals of history. Most of these honorees are now directors, Shanti Surabhatnagar awardees, and prestigious award winners. As we unveil the book, you'll discover a treasure trove of narratives that span diverse backgrounds, along with a spirit of determination and innovation. I encourage each and every one of you to discover the stories that resonate with you and let these scientific accomplishments be a source of inspiration and motivation in your own pursuits. I'm highly honored to invite the visionary leader and the driving force behind the advancements in science, Honorable Dr. Jitendra Singh, Vice President, CSIR. I humbly request you to kindly come up and inspire us with pearls of wisdom, sir.
On the dais, Director General CSIR, Dr. Kalai Selvi, Dr. Venugopal, former Secretary Dr. Ramaswamy, Dr. Geeta, all the scientists, dear students, award winners, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I have to perform the pleasant task of congratulating formally all the award winners. And we are here because of you. If there was no award function, if you not won the award, we wouldn't have had this ceremony this morning. So you know how important it is for us to recognize you, to acknowledge you, to congratulate you. And like any other award, I hope all of us realize this is not the end in itself. It's only one of the preludes to the final destination, maybe a small gesture of motivation being provided to you by the agency. And it is an award meant for the young scientists below the age of 35, and CSIR itself is a young body. You would be surprised calling it young when it's already 80 years. But in the age of an agency, 80 is just of infancy. If you write a history book, I don't think 80 years even occupy the footnote of a chapter. So only the mortal being is 80, sounds like that. So if you take from that point of view, it's a young agency awarding a young scientist. But a young agency which has, over the last 80 years, emerged as one of the most glorious and gratifying organs in the government of India since independence, and has actually enabled India to acquire a frontline role in the Committee of World Nations. Also, I think it's an opportunity for me to say that we have tried to rationalize and also expand the spectrum of awards from the next year, I believe, since the Shanti Surabhatnagar Award was also confined to only those below the age of 45. which was not often realized. But what happens after 45? So many of you the best of times begins after 45 for many of us. So, and most of that time was going unrewarded. So now we have awards in 3 categories. Like most of the institutional awards, institutionalized awards across the country, we'll have Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Award confined to the age group of 45, as it was already, and I think they have named it as Shanti Swarup Yuva Award. And then one of the best success stories of the year, which would be an individual award, could be a team award, so that like you have a best film award also, not only a debut award. So it will be like Bhatnagar is a debut, and then you have a best of the year award, and then you have the lifetime award, which is known as Vigyan Ratna. So I think that will address all these sections of scientists and keep them motivating, and also acknowledge the fact that the scientific journey or a scientist's journey does not end at 45. It remains unending. As we have seen in the West, they don't even have a retirement age over there. Not that would motivate you to make such a plea with the DG. Yeah, that's how. So I think we are now, since we are following the world parameters, the world strategies, living up to world benchmarks, we'll also have to be in the same league as they are. I think she was referring to the women who have been awarded today. Increasingly, you see in most of these award functions, the number of women is increasing. And in many of these ceremonies, the number of women is outnumbering men. And I don't know whether a day would come, you would start calling for men's participation rather. And women have actually achieved a leadership role, which is, I think, very obvious in most of our scientific projects. Like in space also, we have Aditya being led by a woman called Nijar, and Chandrayaan, the second head is Kalpana. Similarly also over here. And I'm also glad that they are first generation women. They can't be there because of the legacy of the family, because science doesn't allow that privilege. It could be there in the industry or film line, but not so in a scientific research or innovation. So it has to be inbuilt. And thirdly, I think while I was watching the children, I must compliment the director, because this is what I had been asking for many years. In fact, even before this government came in 2014, I used to repeatedly plead to the tourism department to include institutions like NPL in the list of itinerary, because these boys and girls have these education tours, particularly during the winter months of December or the winter vacation. And they, in fact, I once, in a lighter vein, I asked one of the tourism functionaries, I said, what do you do to promote tourism? They said, we tell them about the tourist spots. I said, like Jantar Mantar or Lal Killa or Red Fort or whatever, which they already know, or Taj Mahal, you don't have to tell them. So I said, if you actually mean to promote, you have to promote the monuments of modern India, which is one that you are sitting in, one of the oldest scientific institutes of the country. And how do you then get their interest evoked? So you could take them around, show them that atom clock. Have they seen that? You saw, children? Did you see the clock there? You have the clock here. You didn't see the model? The same came straight to the auditorium. So before you go home, you must tell them that this auditorium, an auditorium like this exists in my school also, sir. So what is new that you have shown me? And they'll show you the clock. Any of you still listens to the Akashvani news or All India Radio news, or most of you are tuned to the electronic? Do you listen to the national news in All India Radio? And you hear that sound 222 happening before 9 o'clock in the evening and 8 o'clock in the morning, which is the conventionally established timings of the main bulletins on All India Radio news. So that tone generates from here. So if the NPL disturbs that, because that is the most accurate, and that's why the olden times your parents, your grandparents used to match their watches with that tung. So this is one place. Secondly, most of you must be below 18, I think, I believe. I mean, that's what appears to be. How many of you are going to be 18? So this year when you go to vote, you'll have to put a mark on your finger. You aware of that? That also emanates from here. So these 2-3 things you must, whenever you go there, you must ask them, because you should have the curiosity also to ask them for more. So unless you ask, because then they would think that maybe you've already gone home satisfied. So I think once we start off this trend, we could then extend it to the other places as well. Similarly, in the Pragati Maidan, we have started something called Hall of Nuclear Power. So sometimes these children could be asked to visit there also. And this trend has picked up because there's a lot of curiosity among the youngsters, just that we were never trying to orient ourselves to that kind of curiosity in the young minds. Once we did that in the space sector, we almost not a day passes when we don't have a group of students visiting Bangalore and then also visiting Sriharikota. And now we've also arranged buses for them to commute from Bangalore to Sriharikota, because almost every day we are getting, and students from down south Trivandrum to up Ladakh from every state. And sometimes they have to curtail the number. They ask them to come next day. Because suddenly after in the last 2-3 years, we started this practice. It's picked up only after Chandrayaan. And now we are not only getting students, we are getting their parents, their teachers, every walk of life. So I think if you start visiting these, you will realize what all is happening. If the Prime Minister keeps saying that India is number 3 in economy, India is bioeconomy among 5, biomanufacturers among the 5 top nations, how is that happening? It's happening here. So once you are through having seen Red Fort and Taj Mahal, these are the modern Red Forts and modern Taj Mahals that you should be visiting. And I'm sure in the times to come, this will also give you an opportunity to spend some time with the seniors over here. Sometimes also realize your own aptitudes, inherent aptitudes, which you may not have realized. Maybe you feel that you are. Yes, you could also do the kind of work which is being done over here under the scientist over here or the director over here. Or it could be otherwise also. You could think, no, this is not my cup of tea. I'm not meant for all these dingy labs. I'm meant for something more colorful, maybe for dance, drama. So next time I won't come to this institute, I'll go to the drama Kala Kendra. So this enables you to actually examine your inherent talents and your leanings also. Otherwise, as Francis Bacon once said, the greatest harm to the cause of literature is done by the teachers of literature. So otherwise you keep sitting in your classroom and it becomes a practice with you to mug up and devour whatever is spoken to the teacher, and for teacher also to keep repeating the same lecture year after year to batch after batch. So I'm sure this is also going to be a new opening, beginning from NPL, which is also a trendsetter for CSIR in more ways than one. And I once again congratulate the award winners, and I'm sure they'll keep doing us pride in the years to come as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Your unwavering commitment for the betterment of our society through scientific endeavors has truly left an indelible mark on the scientific community. I request DG CSIR to kindly felicitate Honorable Dr. Jitendra Singh by presenting him a shawl as a token of our gratitude. Can we join our hands together in showing admiration to our Minister of Science and Technology? Our heartfelt thanks to you, sir, for your remarkable leadership that serves as an inspiration to all of us. I now request the awardees of Young Scientist Award 2022 to kindly come up on stage for a group photograph with our dignitaries. I request you all to kindly bring your plaque with you. We have with us all of the awardees of Young Scientist Award 2022 with our honorable dignitaries. Thank you so much. I now call upon the authors of the book entitled Profiles in Excellence CSIR Young Scientist Award to have a photograph with the Honorable Minister and dignitaries. I would like to appreciate the efforts of Dr. Inderpal Singh and Dr. Manish Bharadwaj, HRDG, who have meticulously compiled this book. I also request the officials and the team behind the CSIR alumni portal to come forward on the stage for a group photograph with the dignitaries. Here is the team of the CSIR alumni portal. Thank you so much. I thank the dignitaries for doing the honors. Our Honorable Minister has to leave. He has some important assignment. So can we have a huge round of applause for having him with us today at this event? Our dignitaries are accompanying him. I request you all to be seated. We will have a keynote lecture now. Our dignitaries will join us shortly. We come to the keynote lecture by Dr. T. Ramasamy. Dr. T. Ramasamy is a man of great accolades and honor. He served Government of India as a Secretary, Department of Science and Technology during 2006 to 2014. During his tenure in DST for about 8 years, public investments into research and development scaled up many folds. He also served as director of the Central Leather Research Institute, Chennai. He is a distinguished researcher and a renowned scientist. He was instrumental in the formulation of Science, Technology and Innovation Policy 2013 by the Government of India. He has contributed to more than 237 scientific publications and 8 chapters in books, 41 patents, and developed 12 process know-hows. About 12 patents and all process know-hows have been commercialized. He is a winner of more than 65 awards. He was awarded India's National Civilian Honor, the Padma Shri, for excellence in science and engineering in 2001, and the Padma Bhushan in 2014. He was awarded the Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Award for notable and outstanding research in chemical sciences in 1993. He is an elected fellow of Indian Science Academy, Indian Academy of Sciences, National Academy of Sciences of India, Indian National Academy of Engineers, and the World Academy of Sciences, Trieste, as well as 6 other academies. Without much ado, I humbly request Dr. T. Ramasamy to kindly come forward and enlighten the gathering. We have been eagerly waiting to hear you speak, sir.
Very good afternoon. The esteemed Director General of the CSIR, the Director and the Head of the HRDG of CSIR, and distinguished CSIR Young Scientist Awardees and J.N. Ramachandran Prize winner, and my members of the family of NPL and CSIR, and architects of tomorrow's India, the people who represent the student community here and everyone assembled in the house. Very, very good afternoon. Somebody was mentioning that I got a Bhatnagar Prize in '93, but that award was given away in this very hall. So there's a big legacy as far as this particular hall is concerned. Those of you who received the award today, you please recognize that this is an institution with a huge legacy behind. And we are, of course, celebrating a very special moment of the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research. Today, the Young Scientist Award has been given away. It turns out that all of them who got the prize today belong to the next generation of the Young Scientist Awardees, because the people who got the first year at that time were under 35. Then none of these people were born. The people who got the award today were not born at that time. So it really represent next generation. It's interesting that Dr. Kalachelvi talked about the investment in the next generation to be important. On this occasion, I thought I could share with you the story of what India would be in 2047. I guaranteed I won't be around at that time. But 2047, India would be different, and the kind of industrial research that India of 2047 would need to be started today, not in 2047. Therefore, I propose to share with you the grains of what I call industrial research of India at 2047, and truly I call it an attempted forecast, because I can't call this a forecast, it's an attempt to the forecast. If you were to look at this country's development, it's only befitting that look at a long term rather than the year-to-year process. Look at the year 1947, when the British was ruling us. We must remember the trade value of India in 1750 was 28% of the world trade. 28% of the world trade was India. 48% was India and China. When Britain left us in 1947, our share was 1%. It was brought from 28 to 1%. It turned out the life expectancy of an Indian at birth was 32. Tremendous level of child mortality. The enrollment into higher education was less than 1%. The maternal mortality was 2,000 mothers per lakh of live birth. And the infantile mortality was 150 per 1,000. Couple had many children, but many of them died. And I move again, look at 2020, the life expectancy at 70.15. The gross enrollment ratio from 1% went to 24.94%. The maternal mortality dropped from 2000 to 97, and infantile mortality dropped to 32 per thousand. But 2047, we should aim at the best possible numbers of today in the world. If you want to look at that, the projected life expectancy of India in 2047 is 77. But best today is 85. I think India should look at 85 in 47, not worry about 77 precipitate process. The gross enrollment ratio of national education policy projects it 2030 at 50%. There are some states like Tamil Nadu at 53% already. Therefore, we need to go back and ask this question, how do we go? Remember, the United States higher education today and gross enrollment ratio is 47%. Therefore, 50% is already up in the region. Maternal mortality today in the world best number is 8 lakh per month, 8 lakh per lakh, and infantile mortality 3 per thousand. And those are the numbers that India of 2047 must aim at, and therefore we have to work towards that process. Now, India in 1947, the population was 33 crores. At that time, 91% of the people lived on agriculture. About 30 crore people lived on agriculture. At that time, the Indian economy was 2.76 trillion rupees, $2 billion. At that time, the farmers' per capita income was 10% higher than national average. Now look at this, in 97, the population went from 33 crore to 100 crore. It's not that Indians are producing more, the child mortality was brought down. The death rate was brought down. Life expectancy moved from 32 upward. Therefore, the death rate, birth rate mismatch is a question. The population increased and 91% to 65%. Then agroeconomy reliance decreased, service economy grew, the GDP went to something like 9.9 trillion rupees. In 22, the 100 has become 140. People rely on agroeconomy has dropped to 51%, and service economy is very strong, and the GDP increased to $2.67 trillion. You're looking at this, to 2047, projected population of India will be 164 crores. That's a population. Now, at that 1.64 crores, 164 crores, we can't sustain high percentage of people in agroeconomy, because at the time of independence, 30 crore people lived on agricultural economy with a certain amount of land available. But today, at 140 crore, 51%, 70 crore people with the same less land. Therefore, there has to be a possible change in the way our economic process operate. Industrial economy must service more than 50% of the population. Today, 28%. Therefore, the projected GDP of India at that time will be $30 trillion. $30 trillion will be the total size of the economy in terms of projection. Given those, by 2047, the most populous country, largest, one of the major economies of the world, it will be with the largest share of younger people. And what would be the national task is to connect the manpower to the purchasing power of the world, not purchasing power of ourselves, purchasing power of the world. Therefore, India 2047 will have to take care of 164 crore people and relate that to the world trade. And when Britain left us, our share of the world trade was 1%, which was at 28% in 1750. We have to move back, and that time India's population will be 19% of the world population. 19% of the world population, therefore we will have to aim for 19% of the world trade. And that's the process that you need to adopt. As of 2047, we have to plan where our country's trade and other economic systems will come from. $30 trillion the projected GDP, and that $30 trillion will compose of what? Which are the components, and that's what I'm going to share with you today. You take the agroeconomy. When you take the agroeconomy, you must remember agriculture is land and water intensive in this country. 80% of the water in this country is used for irrigation. And if you are now going to look at the land availability of arable land will come down because the population will increase. And if you have on current day terms, if the water availability is 1000 meter cube per capita per year, is called water source country. It was 5000 meter cube when India became independent. Today it's 1350. By 2047 it will be less than 1000. And there are some states like Tamil Nadu is already water starved in the world, 980. Therefore, we must remember we cannot afford to export our agricultural products, because that would mean we are starving ourselves of water, starving ourselves of land requirements, and so on. Therefore, there is a necessity to recognize that agroeconomy for a large populous country like India is not ideally suited to be part of the global trade. And given that issue, we must unleash part of the population relying on agricultural livelihood into other sectors of industry growth. Therefore, in terms of the number of people with livelihood need to be dropped down. It cannot be at 164 crores, it cannot be 80 crore. At 50% level, current levels can't sustain this. Therefore, agroeconomy has to be reviewed in its own space. Look at the service economy. It turns out today's economic process in this country, the 14% of our GDP is connected to 51% of the population of agriculture. 54% of the service economy, we have GDP in service sector, contain 18% of the population. Therefore, in terms of per capita wealth sharing, a service economy person has tenfold higher contribution than a farmer. Therefore, the average per capita income of farmer today is 49% of India's per capita, and that's not a healthy thing for the people to do. The service economy, therefore, had to be suited to a very connective process, and service economy is connected to knowledge. You cannot expect that all the 164 crore people will come into the knowledge economy. You have to have spaces for those who are not in that space. Therefore, looking at that overall, industrial economy has to be the bulk of our the $30 trillion GDP profile. So it relies on, industrial economy relies on ability to add, truly relies on capital and the ability to add values to raw materials with the additional skill and technology. And if the raw material price is X, if the selling price is 2.5X, that means it's innovation-led manufacturing, and that's where technology and innovations add value to the raw material. Given those issues, it is the ability in the most populous nation like India will have to necessarily live on the ability to manufacture for the world, not just for India. And that implies India of 2047, industrial economy must be the engine of change. And that's a fundamental requirement. And by that time, in 2047, about 75 crore people must rely on industrial economy for their livelihood and growth and development processes. And if you're looking at it in terms of numbers, 51% has to decrease to about 30%, and the land and water availability in this country cannot sustain more than 30% of the population of 2047 in terms of numbers. And therefore, agriculture has to be replaced in the industrial economy and service economy in 2047 profiles. It's a busy slide, but it's a lunchtime. I'll be careful to do not get spent. If you take the science, technology, innovation triangle, knowledge triangle, and innovation, science we celebrate is an advanced knowledge, it promotes excellence, technology is focused on relevance, and innovation talks about convergence. Innovation is truly competitive knowledge, and science is an advanced knowledge, and technology is an applied knowledge. Now, this knowledge triangle, among scientists we celebrate science we give ourselves awards and recognitions and so on. But the people ask, society asks, the countries put so much money in science, what do we get? Therefore, there's a question of how do you connect the knowledge to the national development processes. These are issues, and it turns out in today's world, competition-driven scientific strategic action becomes necessary, and that's where industrial economic processes operate. And it turns out that how do we connect technology to trade coupling, and this question of connecting national development and knowledge is an ongoing exercise across the world, all developed parts of the world, and I believe India is really pushed into that process by choice. Now, the process of connecting people, pursuit and process is what the CSIR is all about, this industrial research. How do we connect the pursuit of science, the process of science, and connect to the welfare of people? And that's the issue that we have, and have given this the directional change of the 20th century from a preeminence among peers when we were doing research. When I got the Panna Prize here, it was given for publishing papers which others found it interesting to read, but let me say, the lighter vein, when I got Padma Shri in 2001, Lata Mangeshkar Bharat Ratna, and some of one of my friends, hey, what is this? You got Padma Shri, she got Bharat Ratna. What is your problem? He said, science get only Padma Shri. You don't realize, I was one of the few academic chemists of the world. Some of the best guys looked at my paper and get upset why I didn't think like this. So bright men became depressed by reading my paper. Millions of depressed people listen to the music of Lata Mangeshkar, get elevated. And therefore, she deserves Bharat Ratna, forget about this. So in my early part of life, when I was working for Padma Prize and all that, I got in the same auditorium, I was worried about peer recognition. But today's science is not about peer recognition. Especially those of you who got this Young Scientist Award today, please recognize the global share of India and high technology trade. That's an issue, which was a few years ago 0.656%. Okay? And we need to remove that. And now move toward, it's still less than 1%. We have to move that into a 18-19% levels by 2047. And that implies that we have to have a global leadership in certain areas of we need to be able to create developmental opportunities for people through technology. The technology has to provide developmental. Development is not forming roads and giving mobile connections. It's about giving developmental opportunities for people. They should have a choice, and they should not be limited by an economic limitation. India got political freedom in 1947. As much as 25 crore people of India today still do not have economic freedom. We have political freedom. How do we get economic freedom to the all 164 people? 164 crore people, and that requires a balanced growth of all the three engines: agro, industry, and service economy. This is this I made for CSIR a long time ago, but DG CSIR is present. I will point out to you CSIR, and is a mind to market chain, and it talks about creative knowledge, and you talk about consolidation of knowledge, consultation, commercialization, confidence building, and the knowledge becomes the know-how, know-how becomes the show-how, show-how becomes the do-how, do-how becomes the use-how. In this, research is about inspiration, and then you talk about innovation, and then innovation network, and where basically all knowledge is not useful. All knowledge is not necessarily leading to economic value. It is beauty of knowledge is its own sake, but knowledge for its application has to be reduced for its failures. So the risk reduction, that's the main activity of CSIR. Not doing research, but reducing the potential failures of the knowledge itself. Then the question of this, when you look up in the process, industrial R&D is primarily in this area. Innovation with a network, risk reduction, revalidation. It is very easy to get government, people like, there are many scientists write projects for DST, and see DST is like a nursery keeper, and we'll put small amount of money in every seat possible. And the good thing about DST, they give money, never ask question what you have done with it. So no review, nothing. But say they are the nursery keeper. College LV cannot be a nursery keeper. She has to be a farmer who is investing on returns. The farmer cannot go on investing into hope, but innovator, the nursery keepers can invest into hope. There's a question of this. This is government money is a soft money. CSIR still relies very heavily on public money, which is soft money. But industry money is hard money. But there is a gap, social capital, wherein you require a mix of both. And that's very essential, and the know-how to show how transition knowledge is built on the foundation of selecting the R&D leads and synergizing with the stakeholders. Social capital in the form of trust between R&D group and stakeholder is key, and grammar of supply side R&D does not fit CSIR. It has to be demand driven. There's a situation that's different, and that's the way our world operates. So industrial research and development demands ability to convert the knowledge into products and processes and design solutions to problems, not just understand nature, and that are awaiting for new R&D led changes. I used to say technology we develop in a laboratory, and we have a technology. Technology is like a button searching for a shirt to sit. You cannot sit a shirt around a button. You have a button, that you must find a shirt without a button and put the button on it. Not the other way around. You cannot stitch a shirt around a button. You cannot design a company, run a company on technology. Technology has to fit into the company space. And translational research is key as far as industrial research is concerned. So industrial research for industrial economy, one asks the question, what triggers the business sector into investment? Of course, tax incentives. It so happened during my time in Delhi, we raised the tax incentives for industrial R&D, private sector investment, unmatched by anybody in the world, 200%. Nobody in the world had that kind of R&D incentives. And so export of high technology based products, proactive measures to stay in dynamic market space through products and services. And that's what drives the business industry. Business investment into research in this country is somewhat low, and the global share of high technology trade to increase manifold, and manufacturing is key for India 2047. Looking at this, the government investments in top countries, we talk about every time we talk about 2% India is not investing. I myself wrote the text for the previous Prime Minister knowing well that it is not doable. Why is it not doable? I will tell you this today. If you take the 2% investment of GDP at the per full-time equivalent certain amount, you will find out how many scientists are minimum requirement. It turns out when I came to the government of India here, the total full-time equivalent in India was 1.34 lakhs. Okay? When China had 22 lakhs, US has 14.7 lakhs. With 1.34 lakhs, if you put 2% of the GDP, the scientists will die of indigestion of money. They know how to spend. Today it's increased to 3.3 lakhs, 1.34 lakhs. It was policy-based intervention that happened in this country. The industrial economy is government invests 11%, 68% is business investment. In India, 37% is business investment, 2/3 is government. And that is something that limits the value of industrial R&D. So industrial research in India, its primacy is necessary for march into India 2047, is best conducted in individual enterprises. Business truly, R&D, business industrial research is best done in individual enterprises, not in public funded body. It turns out, for those of you who are new to this council, the CSIR, the Council of Scientific Industrial Research, was shaped in the model of Board of Scientific Industrial Research of Britain in 1942. It turns out Board of Industrial Scientific Industrial Research in Britain is closed. And today, public funded industrial research body, there are only 3 bodies in the world: the CSIR, CSIRO, and CSIR South Africa. And the reason why that's closed is because the distance between the researcher and the market in a public funded body is too large. If the private sector, the R&D priority is connected to the requirements of the region. So, the 1947 arable land could support 30 crore people, and I believe you cannot support more than 30 crore people even 2047, because the land will decrease, water will decrease. So, service economy cannot absorb the unleashed population of 40 crores. Industrial economy is the only means by which larger population can be provided remunerative and dignified employment. Please understand, not remunerative, dignified employment. Industrial research in March 2047 gains paramount importance. R&D for technology-led employment decreases global share to less than 1% to at least 10%. I would really like 18%. At least 10% is what we should foreguard. Now, given this 2047, large industries might need to engage in in-house R&D. We can't expect the CSIR body to solve those problems. This would call for adequate supply of R&D trained manpower, industry ready manpower. It turns out our universities, including IITs, are not able to train the kind of people who are prepared to do industrial R&D in their own systems. That's a very limited requirements, supply. So, therefore, when you look at institutions like CSIR, when they run the ACSIR, you are actually creating a people. Could we use the ACSIR as a body to generate the private sector R&D ready personnel by solving problems while they are still working for CSIR, industrial problems working for CSIR. Those are the kind of things you need to look at and see the difference in industrial R&D is the solution must flow when the problem is present. You can't have a train, you can't arrive at a station where a train leaves. It so happened in most of the academic research, we work on sense of infinite time, not specific time delivery. Therefore, this question of livelihood of the 7 million people, industrial manufacturing is necessary, then industrial R&D has to have a target. Today's industrial R&D is not focusing on global problems. Most of them are local problems, and therefore the ability to source becomes difficult. You have to have if you have a global problem, it has to be entering the dynamic competitive market space. You can't have technology solutions flowing at different times. It has to be economical. Most scientists do not think about economic implications of the technology. What the product which comes out. I'll share with you an anecdote. I came back to India in '84 and joined the Leather Institute. At that '83, leather industry had complained to the Prime Minister that CLRI is not doing well. So, her political solution was to close down CLRI. '83, closing down CLRI was the easiest solution possible. I was brought here in '84. I went to the industry and asked, what is the problem you asked CLRI to solve? They didn't have. You don't know, I never asked the problem to solve, and they are saying they have not done anything. Have you asked something to do something they have not done? Finally, they could not define a problem. I defined a problem. Will that help? He said, sure. Then I asked, supposing I make a product, at what price will you buy? He said 40 rupees a kilogram. Then I went back to my lab and said, I will start with the development of a chemical, which will raw material price only 16 rupees, so that there will be a margin for somebody making. We developed first-rate technologies in '84, '86 commercialized. They had no international equivalent for the product even today. It was done at that kind. The reason I am trying to tell you this, you have to have economic sense in the way technology is developed. Most of our technologies are developed without an understanding of economic orientation, and that is not technology. Therefore, these are technology lead. Now, small and medium enterprises in this country will be the wealth distributor. They will take care of mass people happen to be in. It so happened small and medium enterprise contribute to 15% of the economy, but 40% of the jobs. Therefore, you must remember anything that you hit in small and medium enterprise, you are hitting jobs. Therefore, there is a necessity to look at research, industrial research models, small enterprise cannot afford research. Institution like the council, we have to ask the question, how do I serve the sector? And you need to have developed completely new governance models for public funded research. If you say, oh, no, non-exclusive, this and that, nobody will put money in this. You need to therefore go back and ask very different sets of questions of sharing the intellectual property users. And I have worked with small enterprises in the leather sector for a long time. I tell you, these are new methods that are necessary. Now, industrial research in India, I would give personal perspective. Most industrialized nation, industrial is taken by the concerned industrial houses. Industrial R&D mostly demand driven. R&D priority is close to the needs of the prevailing emerging market. Time to market has to be short for R&D outputs. R&D for private goods the prevailing norm. But R&D for private good actually has its own implications on affordability. Today, looking at this United States with a $23 trillion economy, 18% is healthcare cost, which is larger than the GDP of this country. Therefore, you will see large percentage of the human population is left out of the R&D needs across the world. Therefore, industrial research in India is largely public funded, focused on public good. Offtake levels of outputs from public R&D bodies fairly low currently, and 47 call for a vibrant model for industrial R&D. Industrial R&D has to involve both private and public activities. So, we are looking at industrial research in India 2023, high focus on applied industrial research, larger potential for commercialization directly to the technology-led social transformation, non-strategic sector. You see, it turns out that if you ask a commoner, how do you relate your growth to research done in our laboratory? So happened, I won't mention the name, way back there was a performance appraisal board, and I used to be a member of 26 such boards. One of my friends was a director of that laboratory, and I asked that person, what is the focus of research? And he said, healthcare, human health care of India. I said, supposing you go out and stand on the road, ask five pedestrians, how they relate their healthcare to this laboratory, what will they say? He didn't have an answer. I said, there is knowledge as a product, usable knowledge as a product, useful knowledge as a product, they are different. Society will understand only useful knowledge, not wonderful knowledge. There is a big difference. Therefore, this question of if you ask a commoner in India, how do they relate to Indian science? They will say, oh, we have got Chandrayaan launch. Oh, we have this atom bomb. This atom bomb we can't use, which we celebrate. So, the strategic sector R&D is what the people focus. In the non-strategic sector R&D, industrial is the hands of the council. It is CSIR and ICMR. They have a very large responsibility in this process of looking at people welfare. So, a transition from technology transaction, the so-called know-how transfer, buying and selling is all useless. There is a very old outmoded model. Transaction means any buyer will complain about the seller. And therefore, this has happened when Abidabson committee happened for CSIR in 84 and the year joined. So, therefore, we have to move away from transaction model to relationship model with stakeholders adopting the philosophy of co-sharing the objectives of R&D priorities, co-investments and cooperation of economic value, co-generation of economic values. And this is the march of the system. The new grammar for industrial research of 2047 is really referencing techno-social context in which that industrial research is done. Skip this. In a corporate sector, of course, they have to undertake this, and CSIR has to perhaps leverage this academy to create people who are capable of doing corporate R&D in their own environment on a relationship model rather than a transaction model. knowledge business links are bridged through technological opportunities, industrial challenges. That requires what I call a strategic alliance. And I have to do a small commercial break for leather, but it is not for commercial for leather. There's a message in the story. In 1950, because the DG is sitting here, I have to tell her that look, CSIR has done something, please recognize it. 1950, CSIR PLI started functioning. 48 the founder put the system. It turns out about 50,000 people relied on leather industry. Today, there are 2.5 million jobs have happened. This was a kind of a export system by 2001, and the reason the 2001 is linked because there's a story I am going to relate to you, and the West Coast Basket has changed. This entire process, because of technology absorption by the industry, which was a trade exporting raw hides and skins, all that happened, transition happened. All these changes are directly transmutable to CLRA, one-to-one. 60% of the people manning the leather industry today as alumnus of CLRA and Anna University. And it turns out 45% of the leather chemicals are made with the industry's input from the Leather Institute. Therefore, the impact share, global share, Indian share is very high. And the storyline of leather research in India, the idea of Leather Institute was mooted by the Vice Chancellor of the Madras University, A.L. Mudaliar. And it turns out the chairman of the committee which decided was his twin brother, Ramasamy Mudaliar. So Ramasamy Mudaliar asked his twin brother to come and present a case, and at that time nobody worried about nepotism, and they decided to establish Leather Research Institute of the council with a block grant of 30,000 rupees to Madras University in the year 1945. And they took a decision that thus government gives a land free, and there must be a good university and viable trade. Two cities qualified, namely good university and trade, Calcutta and Chennai, and Madras at that time. But they Mudaliar managed to make the government give 83 acres of land for 1 rupee ahead of anybody else. So Leather Institute went to CLRA. And it turned out they decided that the leather technology department of the Madras University was CLRA. CLRA is the department, part of the Madras University. From the very beginning, 1948, CLRA founded. From that institute, now today, you can see a stable, sustainable relationship among academy, research, industry, and an abiding trust in the industry and people and the research. Very abiding trust, a total trust. And durable relationship, and the government of India, 10th plan for leather sector prepared by me for industry, industrial ministry, and presented by one of my colleagues in CLRA to the planning commission when the secretary of industry ministry was in Rome. I was in Rome with him. So CLRA presented the Ministry of Industry's plan for 10th plan for leather. So industrial research in leather forms a good model for deeper study for other sectors as well. Don't look at CLRA simply for leather, but look at it in terms of a larger explanations. And it turned out the day of my appointment as the director of the Leather Institute, I brought good luck on leather industry. Supreme Court ordered closure of 400 tanneries in Tamil Nadu. I was in Delhi airport. So these guys beaten the Supreme Court, they came to the airport, they were crying, and we decided how we'll address it on the aircraft, Air India aircraft. And it turned out we went ahead and set up a technology plan for the entire leather industry of Tamil Nadu, 764 companies. And 148 colleagues of mine worked for 8 months in 9 towns, worked all the 764 tanneries and solved the problem within 9 months, and we got a court order to give that 9 months, and there was a Supreme Court bench monitoring the progress, and we closed we saved 2.5 lakh jobs, 6,500 crore turnover, 3,000 crore export at that time, and it turned out CLRA NERI prepared technology plan, and we moved away from the don't in a pollution problem, do ecology solution. Don't ecology to a do ecology solution. That was a turning point as far as the history of leather research in this country is concerned. And there are lessons to learn from. In 92, CLRA led a coordinated technology forecasting exercise for leather sector of 2010. When India was exporting 400 crores, we said 2010 will export 16,000 crores. And India's export in 2010 was 16,850 crores. The study proposed commissioning of leather technology mission as a technology proving exercise to be implemented by CLRI. This is the one and only technology mission implemented by CSIR, the science department. It's a technology proving phase, and this was launched right in this place. This mission was launched right in this auditorium, in this very place. And launched on 12 January 96, exactly 5 years later, we closed it. And we delivered all what was asked. Then we suggested we mount that to a leather technology mission, to a leather mission from technology propagation, technology proving to technology propagation. That has been launched, and the India's export went to 680 crores, and today it stands at 45,000 crores. And in terms of technological strength, in terms of environmental preparedness, India is ahead of the rest of the world. And it is one thing for me to claim, when I got to Padma Shri, leather industry organized a felicitation attended by 5,000 people. I don't think anybody got a 5,000 people in felicitation process. This was given by the leather industry and his team. The tanners of Tamil Nadu in overcoming environmental problems has been much acclaimed. The industry is proud of his achievements, brought CLR to very close to the industry, and CLR cooperation today become a model for other R&D institutions in the country. This was 2001. So, what are the lessons? Academic research industry partnership and linkage to arms of the government for policy driven changes are integral part of the development of industrial technology. Industrial R&D need to embrace solution design capability and not discovery, not investigations and studies. We are very good in studies, but we have to solve problems. With demand driven rather than supply side models, industrial R&D must evolve mission mode actions with technology proving and technology propagation phase. Some aspects of industrial research has to have a mission mode driven activities and programs, delivery in process. And why we launched here in this auditorium in 1996, I suggested at that time, I said we will have a third party audit social impact assessment of the mission, and we involved Tata Economic Consultancy Services right from the start of the mission. 2 years later, they studied and came back with some pilot study, what are the mistakes that happened. We went and corrected it. When we closed it in 2001, I made Tata Economic Consultancy make a presentation to the Ministerial Committee of the social impact cost in the process. So, third party assessment was done as an internal alert to correct our mid-course corrections, and those are integral part of industrial research that one need to recognize in this process. So, is there an opportunity for Indian research in the global market space? And I believe there is a plenty of opportunity, not just for CSIR, industrial research in this country, but on a global space. Current global science technology innovation scape consists of a small group of nations investing into R&D. It turns out, as for the record of the World Bank, India is the 4th largest investor into R&D today. There are 90 countries, 35 small income countries, low income group countries, 55 low middle income group countries, 90 countries, 92% of the investments of 90 countries is India. India is the only country in the top 10 which is low middle income group country with an average per capita income after purchase power parity of $6,500. So, we have to go back and ask a question. The industrial economy's private sector investments are double that of the public segment, and R&D for private good dominates in R&D outputs in, for example, pharmaceutical industry. We found out during the COVID time what happened. Eventually, they had to rely on this country's process, and the emergence of Bharat Biotech as a vaccine producer was supported by DST's TDB at the initial phase. The investments on the biosafety level 3 facilities were created by the TDB when I was a director, when I was secretary here. We did it 10 years before. Those are issues that are important. The landscape operates in low resource setting and enjoys some advantage in focusing on what I call affordable innovations. The innovations caused by in other parts of the world are not affordable. If you look at this, there are for 50 countries here. These are what I call a raw resource. They talk of 2% of the GDP as a mark number. 2% of the GDP, this is 4,000 scientists per million population. It turned out when I came here to Delhi, India had a number of 134 per thousand. The only country which had lower number full-time equivalent per thousand million population was a country to which we don't want to lose cricket matches. And you can look at the number of nations which are in this category. This is United States. These are sized to the present investments of 22. And this is United States. You have Japan. You're looking at this. These countries make a finite amount of investments, but R&D outputs created at this investment cannot meet the affordability levels of nations in this category because it's too expensive. And if you want to invest, the world were to invest. World investment last year in R&D was $2.1 trillion on purchase per parity. At $2.1 trillion, if you take the nations in this bracket, calculate what percent of the human population can be supported, only 35%. So 66% of the world cannot afford R&D at this investment. That's what it amounts to. Only country which can lead the research in that direction is this, India, because we are still in a low resource setting. We can do affordable research in this area, industrial activities. So, innovation for growth, if you take the global north driven processes, there are very intensive, resource intensive models, infrastructure driven system, and today if we want to invest at the United States level for meeting the global population of 7.5 billion, it requires $9.9 trillion. $9.9 trillion, which the world cannot afford to invest. And the total GDP of the world is 99, take it as 100. So the transformative changes is a co-evolution of North and South, and sustainability needs to be addressed, and that's where this is a science policy of 23 directions. So sustainable industrial manufacturing requires a new way forward, and that requires not competitive excellence but collaborative excellence. Not companies and companies competing, but collaboration in the process. For an Indian component, CSIR belongs to a formal system, and not such R&D institutional importance. There are, if you take the top 10 innovating leaders, 8 are small economies. Their market size is very small. Their world trade is even smaller than ours. The question here is, can we get into a partnership with them, set up a binational mission, working on a competitive innovations in the public-private partnership model and strategic alliances for world markets, not only domestic market. And India is very good in informal innovation. Now, look at a grassroots innovation, do the due diligence, technical support, standardize, accredit, certify, and build a collaborative excellence in this process. You can meet 66% of the world population, which belong to what I call a base of the economic pyramid, not bottom of the economic pyramid. And that is a market which America cannot support, cannot serve. And no other industrialized nation can do, India can do, and China cannot do this. And there is a recent study in the study of Australian Strategic Policy Institute. They have taken 5 countries, 4 democracies, and 1 China, of course. And they have 44 critical technology requirements, in which India figures significantly on 28 of them. The Indian institutions which are built up, now the Australian Initiative 2023 has presented a model of developing a strategic alliance in different partnerships and 4 democracies, and specific Indian institutions well positioned have been identified in that list, and unfortunately our labs are not in it. We have to look at it in the process. And 2041 could emerge as a player. So structured binational missions involving industrial units, corporate sector, and research leaders from both India and partnering countries with the resource optimization as a new model is an approach that industrial research will have to look at. So industrial research 2047 may need to rely on relationship models built on foundation of partnerships, strategic long-term alliances with sustainability as a new mantra, and development delivering viable, bearable, and equitable bottom lines. Because sustainability involves three things. You need to be economically viable, it has to be bearable for the planet, it has to be equitable for society. It turns out most of the R&D solutions coming from the north are not in the sustainable category. They are not equitable, many of them not bearable also. Therefore, this question, CSIR may need to see beyond the borders of work on strategic thinking globally with at least a 15-year roadmap and serve the nation at CSIR India at 2047. I think CSIR may need to leapfrog into a new path, industrial research enabled, and a case pole vault. Incremental changes we are very good at. I think we have to look for incremental changes to a leapfrog, and wish you all the very best in shaping the future of CSIR 2047, and wish you all the very best in your endeavor, and very happy New Year.
Thank you, sir, for your very valuable and informative talk. Your insights have undoubtedly sparked new ideas and aspirations among our audience. I request honorable dignitaries to kindly come up on the dais. We would like to take this moment to felicitate Dr. T. Ramasamy for bringing forth the keynote address. I request our DG CSIR to kindly present a shawl to Dr. T. Ramasamy as a symbol of our gratitude. Thank you, sir, for creating awareness in our young brimming minds for industrial and translational research. Thank you, sir. We would also like to felicitate our DG CSIR for being the guiding force at all steps. I request Head HRDG to kindly felicitate Dr. N. Kalai Selvi by presenting her a shawl as a token of our gratitude. Thank you, ma'am. As we have come towards the end of the program, I would like to call upon Dr. Geeta Vani Rayasam, Head CSIR HRDG, to propose a vote of thanks.
Yeah, good afternoon. I think everybody is hungry and waiting for lunch, so I will not make it long. Firstly, I would like to thank the Honorable Minister who had to leave early, but he is always very supportive of CSIR and available to us for every occasion. It's a great pleasure to have him as the chief guest. I would like to thank Professor Ramaswamy, who really accepted the invitation in a very short notice and traveling all the way from Chennai and giving us really the insights how to take CSIR forward in 2047. I would like to thank DG CSIR. Without her support, this event wouldn't have been possible. And Dr. Achanta Venugopal for being a gracious host as ever. And I would again congratulate all the awardees without whom this function would not be there. And we look forward to many more contributions and winning newer awards going forward. And thanks to all the young students, and hopefully you will receive the awards one day. And the country has a lot of expectation from the young students, and it's really a delight to host them here. And lastly, I would like to thank the HRDG team who helped us putting it together, and the cooperation from NPL. And thank you everyone, and please join for lunch.
Thank you, ma'am. As the curtains draw to a close, we have come to the end of today's program. We encourage you to continue your journey in science with passion and curiosity. In the vast expanse of knowledge, may your contributions be like stars. Keep shining, keep exploring, and continue to illuminate the path for future generations. Thank you, everyone.